During the process as it unfolds, when they go through site plan review, they'll have their renderings, etc. There'll be 19,200 square feet, and on that property there will be no less than 30, no more than 60 parking spaces, and the improvements for greenery, etc. will all be laid out. Now, the decision to go 30 or 60 could be made here, but it probably is more prudent to make that decision as you go through site plan review, where they can have, public input, and the developer can show, this is what I plan to do with, say, and I'll just say this, 40 spaces. This is where I'm going to place the trees and shrubs. This is what I'm going to do with 30, if that's the number. And the people can see what it would look like, because those parking spaces are going to give off light, etc., from cars, and the greenery in the buffer zone is going to be important. So there is still another level for that to happen, but what will not happen is there won't be any less than 19,200 square feet, there won't be any more than 60 spaces, there won't be any more than 30.
I think that the site plan review would be the appropriate place to do that decision-making on the parking spots. And my reason is, I still want to hear from the fire chief. We could say we're going to have 30 spots, and he could come in and say, you know what, my apparatus won't fit in here, you're going to have 15. Office of Community Development. If they have pictures in front of them and they show this is X amount of spots, this is X amount of spots, and I got to agree respectfully with Councilor Penta, the business community down in South Medford wants these extra spots. And they said that they don't want to get involved with jams with the neighbors, but they're sick and tired of all their customers getting tickets when they come out every night in the whole area. So as far as I'm concerned, that the spots are needed in the South Medford business community. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that it's done appropriately within the neighborhood. Like I said, I just think site plan review is the appropriate place because, and to be honest with you, I don't know what other members of this council have received, but there's many people out there that are far even more than the 58 spots, and naturally, when I responded to emails and phone calls, we can't go over 60, nor shall we, because it's a smaller area.
Whether we decide it tonight or if it goes to the site plan review, I guess that's up to the council. The only thing I would hope to make it fair, I know there's going to be people for and against it tonight, but it doesn't seem like there's 100 people that were here at the last meeting, and before that meeting there was over 100 where parking was discussed. So I just want to make sure that the whole community is represented as far as this neighborhood. I want to make sure I hear from both sides. I don't know who's going to be represented more tonight, but at that meeting, it seemed, you know, everybody seemed pretty much in agreement that it would go out 30 to 60 with just, like I said, that one gentleman who didn't want any. So that's where I'm kind of torn.
And the only thing that I would say about making a decision tonight, I think it would be a mistake about the number of parking spaces. Why do I say that? Because number one, you did have a lot of people come to the meetings to discuss what the parking was going to be like. And this at least is what the parameters are, 30 to 60. I think the site plan review board, for what it's worth, and as I say, I have a lot of families still in Medford, I think that's the appropriate place to go because we're going to be putting the various pieces together of this plan. I think it'd be better to get the input from the site plan review folks and all of the people there that want to speak tonight, and they can bring their concerns, and that's what we told folks 2 weeks ago. Bring your concerns to site plan review. They asked us if they're going to have, they're going to be announced at the meetings. I said, absolutely, come. Ron gave him his card. Call Ron. You know,
Thank
we're
you.
very amenable.
The council will make it.
This is the time you make a hard decision. This is what we're elected to do. You know, you pick your shot, and that's it. It's 30 to 50. You take what it is. I mean, I will make a resolution, and people can speak. You know, the city council vote to approve the project as presented with not to exceed 30 parking spaces. So I'll make that as part of the official record, because that's what I feel. That's what I came here tonight to take the vote. To approve the project as presented with parking spaces not to exceed 30, public parking spaces.
That motion's on the floor.
I don't know if 30 or 60 is the best decision. I'm not voting for one number over the other, but I do want to make an informed decision, and I think the design process is key to making that decision. So seeing a site plan, seeing formal designs from an architect or a landscape architect, and knowing what the scope of the project will look like. So understanding how much green space we can actually carve out of the parking lot is key. to knowing whether 30 is good, 40 is good, or 40 is bad, or 30 is fine. So I just want to make sure that it would be nice if we could see design plans to make an informed decision together, and that the design can be informed by the neighborhood requirements for green space. That's all.
I mean, I think that it makes sense to go through a process and to go through site review. Where did you come up with this 30 number?
I would recommend that the developers take a few different numbers, whether it be 30, 40, whether they do every 10 or every 15, and bring it to the site plan review, and then we notify the neighborhood. We have, you know, I see both sides. We have, in the petition, just looking at the numbers myself, you do have a lot of people that, on Yale Street, that signed that petition. I think those are the people we do need to concentrate on first and foremost. They live across the street from the parking lot. But you also have a number of houses that are not on that petition.
But I respectfully disagree with you. I think that the site plan review is the appropriate place, and like you had said, it's for the design and style. Well, that's 19,200 square feet that I want designed properly, and I want to see the different styles so that the neighbors can go to the site plan review, and we all know the members. They're very amenable to the neighborhood. And when they see these in drawings, once these people buy this building, they're going to go out and they're going to pay the $50,000 for the engineering studies. We're going to have these big drawings with different plans on it. That's the appropriate time, even as us, as members of this community, can go to the meeting and make an informed decision. To do it tonight, without even having drawings of what different options look like, without having, like I said earlier, the fire chief's input, he could come in and throw this whole thing out the window. So, like I said, I believe in the fair process that has been done. The woman that spoke prior, she said it very eloquently, that there was 100+ people at those meetings. And to have the process stall because of minority, I just think the appropriate right now should be to send it to the site plan review where they can make an informed decision based on facts, which is the drawings and everything else. Mr. President, like I said too, one step further that no one has discussed. South Medford right now is the only area in our community that's a business district that doesn't offer parking. Whether you go to the hillside, there's a municipal lot. West Medford, there's a municipal lot. Down on Haynes Square, there's a municipal lot. Out here in Medford Square, there's a municipal lot. South Medford deserves a municipal lot. And I'm going to take the vote based on what's good for this entire community if I feel it doesn't interrupt this neighborhood. And what about the rest of the people, though, from Medford that come down to that area that need a municipal lot to park in? And I know you're going to say it doesn't matter, but it certainly does in my view.
I feel I know their neighborhood very well. I'll be very brief. My personal opinion, I think we need the most parking we can get. Secondly, working in the engineering and construction background and being surrounded by a bunch of professional people, I don't see how the decision can be made without a planning review. How you can just say, this is it, without going through all the steps. That's...
Thank you.
I preferably would rather have 30 parking spaces. I don't think more is better. I have not received one phone call from any one business person in the South Medford area. Now, other councils might have, but I haven't. I've spoken to many people independently on this subject matter. And I would say that my emails and phone calls are right at the 50-50 mark. For the larger spaces, for the 30. For green space, some people don't care about green space. Well, I do, and I don't want any more concrete jungles running around, because if you look at what you've got here, you would be able to pick up on Yale Street additional parking that would take you all the way down to the Lincoln School that presently you don't have because you have an opening to the entrance that's in there. So you might pick up 4 or 5 spaces. I don't know. I don't want my vote to be subject to the board the board upstairs, the Community Development Board. I want them to know that I am voting for 30 parking spaces